Hi, welcome to our channel. We're the Simple Teachers. I'm Whitney, this is Angie, and welcome to another Teacher Center Edition video.
Yeah, we're going to analyze a Tier 2 phonics lesson. Really struggling group where we're looking at a CVC lesson, a small, short vowel lesson.
Yep. And this group, usually there's 2 students due to the need they need. Only 2 students need that need. They really need it. 1 student was absent. So it's 1 student. It is what it is. I was planning on filming, so I still filmed.
Great. Perfect.
We're working on reading our words accurately or correctly, okay? So let's warm up the sound part of our brain. Here we go. I'm going to give you a word and you're going to say the sounds. The word is Meg. Say the sounds.
Meg.
Excellent. Red. Hat. So there's an A sound. Try again. Better. Pin. Top. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to go backwards and I'm going to say the sounds and you're going to say the word. G. Listen again. G. Better. Excellent. Let's put those letters on the board. You did it really well today. Short sound. Long sound. Short sound. Short sound. Long sound. E. Short sound. Long sound. Good. Short and long sound. That's the long sound. What's the short sound? Excellent. Sound. Class. I'm hearing some level 2s. Please bring it back down to level 1 whispers. One problem is our buddy readers forgot to not be so close to each other. Buddy readers, spread out. Thank you. Sound. That's kind of messy.
You forgot one L.
I don't want to put an L on there today. What made you think I'm going to put an L? You want me to put an L? Here we go. L. Okay. Short sound. Long sound. Short sound. Short sound. Long sound. Better way to fix it. Use the long sound. What's the short sound? Good. Short sound. Pronounce it like this. You gotta open your mouth. You're trying to go, it's really hard to say if you don't open your mouth. Better.
All right, so far in your phonics lesson, we've seen you do phonemic awareness warm-up, which you stayed in for a little bit of time in 2nd grade. That was kind of long.
Because this was like the first week this student had ever been successfully able to blend or segment those sounds.
Wow.
He has struggled greatly to where the word might be bug and he needs to segment it. He might say something like van, something not even have one sound the same. Wow. And so, yep.
We're coming along.
Yep, we're coming along, and that's why extra emphasis was put in that.
Very good. And then you move to your sound spelling review, and I see that you're doing really strong emphasis on the vowels. This is an ELL student, so there's always a little bit more struggle with E and I when we're language switching there. That's just a common struggle. But you're giving really good feedback to the student about the sounds, and it's repetitive. Eventually, hopefully, that will be repaired. But you can see how much repetition it's taking just to overcome these basic elements for the 2nd grader. And this is all leading up to text reading, so we have a lot to see. But I want to take a little side note from this lesson and mention your classroom procedure that you have in place to get everyone away from you quiet. So all of her other students are out in the classroom doing student-driven centers, meaningful, of course.
Yeah.
And the noise got a little loud, and she took about 10 seconds. You can watch on the video how long it actually took her if you'd like to time that. It's very short. To give them a reminder that they needed to lower to a level 1, and they all knew very well what that meant because you taught it, you practiced it, they knew exactly what you were talking about. You didn't have to get up, you didn't leave this highly struggling student to go address this issue. You just had to say a reminder. Maybe you had to say, hey, the reason this is happening is because, which was a great thing also. You gave them a specific thing. And then the level calmed down and you're right back into your lesson. So those classroom procedures are critical to delivering this necessary instruction to these struggling students also.
Yeah.
Your centers are built for you to be able to give this instruction.
Yeah. I mean, we all have hard kids, tough kids in our classrooms, and this is real. That showed a real life scenario right there. And one of my hardest students, I can tell right away, is in that buddy reading center. And so no wonder something went wrong that day with it, and that's okay. But he made a change, and that was great. So
yeah.
that was a real life teaching scenario.
Yeah. But you handled it very quickly and got right back to your instruction, and that's what I want everyone to take away from that. So thank you for letting us into your real life.
Yeah, I won't clip it out. I'll leave it.
Okay. All right, let's see what else we can see in this lesson.
Okay. Now let's take those letters and sounds and make some words. Wait until I tap. Oh, I heard you saying a sound before I wrote it. That's guessing reading. Don't do that. Stop. Okay, stop. Short sound. Okay, I think you're getting confused because when we see that, it's the word me, isn't it? But right now I'm going to add another letter, so we're going to do the short sound. Blend.
Me.
Short sound, blend. Blend. Good. Good, that's going to be a name in our story. What's the word? Meg. It's going to be a name.
Red. I don't know the words.
Say it clearly. Good.
Hat. I got it. Pen.
You were guessing.
No, I got it.
What if I added this?
Sun.
Okay, yeah, don't try to guess. Wait until I write the letter, okay?
I got it.
This is the word has. What's the word? Spell has.
H-I.
Is that an I?
No. H-I. No,
A-S. What's the word?
It's
Has.
Oh. Teacher? See, you put here on a Z.
Yeah, you're right. Has is same as sound for the letter S. S does that sometimes. Okay, this is the word gave. What's the word?
You raise this here. The ball
It would still say has, wouldn't it? But in English, we spell has with an S. This is the word gave. What's the word?
Gave.
Spell
A-V.
Say the letters. G.
G-A-V-E. Gaves.
Not gaves. Gave. You knew it. Spell like.
L-E-K.
What is this letter?
L-I-K-E is likes.
Better. Okay, now we're going to take all those sounds and their spellings and the words, and we're going to read. So stop right there. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Read the title. Whisper, whisper. Blend the words in. Say the really clearly.
Meg has a red hat with a pin in the top. The pin in the top of fun bag. Meg likes
You read every word correctly. Holy cow, that's working hard and blending correctly.
All right, so we just watched you do some blending of words, and he still struggles. You gave a lot of feedback.
Mm-hmm.
You went with the hardest vowel, E, short E, and that's good because this is one-on-one. We've got to go where the problems are, and you can't just kind of scoot around them. You got to just hit the nail right on the head. And so you went with that short E vowel, and he struggled. He's a word guesser, which is such a hard habit to break. So every time he's guessing that last vowel and guessing a word, we're not gonna do that. We've got to blend all the way through that word. We're not gonna do that. So you're teaching him to blend all the way through that word.
And that behavior for his word blending is exactly what he used to do in phonemic awareness, in that blending or segmenting. It then became just the last one, and then it's just so interesting that now what you see in the video he's then doing when it's written out. So
we're seeing improvement.
Oh, absolutely, huge improvement. And we still have lots more room to grow.
Lots to go, but improvement is happening, and that's important for you especially to remember, because it becomes difficult when you're doing this every day with them.
Oh yeah, it's monotonous. It's very monotonous, but we keep the end in mind, and we know what the overall goal is. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing this, it's painstakingly our mindset just has to be in the right place, right? We care about teaching children how to read, and that's where my drive is coming from.
Yeah, for sure. You moved into Say, Spell, Say with some sight words. And within these two sections, the sound by sound blending and Say, Spell, Say with sight words, you made sure that you caught every error he made and you gave feedback on every single error. And that's really critical for students of his ability. We have to catch those so we can teach him to recognize when he's making an error and begin to be a self-corrector. And it takes repetition, repetition, repetition. And you're giving so much repetition in a lesson like this. A lot of it is revolving around the sounds and the spellings and their relationship, which is the definition of phonics. So a lot of it's revolving around phonics, but some of it is just revolving around, wow, I don't even know where I put the name of that letter or the sound of that letter. Like you had the word gave, and he didn't give you the letters' names, and you said, oh, I want the names. So you had to remind him even of that. So he's got a little bit of a retrieval of some information. His retrieval is a little bit diminished, I'll call it.
And at this point of the year, he would have just barely as well known all of his letter names and sounds too. There were still letter names and sounds he didn't know. So
Yeah.
we've made lots of progress, and so you can see he still sometimes said the sound instead of the name.
So you're working on a lot of things within
Yeah.
this phonics lesson.
Yeah.
And again, repetition. Oh, it's just the thing he needs, and you're getting it for him.
Yeah.
So I just gonna give you a little boost in the arm. Keep
Good.
going.
We'll keep going. But when I look at his progress monitor through oral reading fluency, he's within his realistic and ambitious growth lines.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's evidence that what we're doing is working. I just gotta keep going.
Yes, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, let's see where we go next.
Okay, now read until they're read words correctly.
Mom.
Good. You blended Meg really well. There's an S at the end, so you'll need to add the S sound.
Mix.
Good. Oh, we just worked on that word. Gave. Start the sentence over and it'll make sense. Please start the sentence over and then it'll make sense.
Mom gave her the hot and the cooked egg made likes to see the back of the pig in the circle.
Good. And you're reading words accurately. You're blending them. Keep it up. You may finish the story. I'm hearing a in that word. That's better.
Her mom likes to see with
Went to the bathroom.
So instead of trying the long vowel first, try the short vowel first. Try the short vowel. Glad. Better. Take the long vowel. Way to work hard.
All right, so due to time, the end of the center time came. So you just made it through the entire text one time with him.
Yeah, so him continuing reading, it was still a first read. I broke up that text into two different parts.
That's good.
Yeah.
And he started having a few errors. I was commenting that we're getting close to the age plus or minus 2 minutes attention span with him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably starting to get where he's wearing out of his attention time.
Yeah, we were over 8 minutes at that point.
Yeah.
So.
And the words that he was having errors with, had trouble with that before.
Mm-hmm.
4-letter words, so blends at the beginning or at the ending. And so it was great that you were able to see where he's still having those problems.
Yeah.
So now you get to find a text with blends for him.
And that's what he's been doing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and it's been difficult for him because you could see blending the word Megs was very difficult for him. But he had been having really good success with CVC. So we knew it was time to move on.
Yes, very good. And phonics is very progressional like that. So he'll eventually be out of those blends as well.
Yeah. And in like a tier 1 phonics lesson, or if there was still time in that tier 2 phonics lesson, we could reread that chorally together.
Yeah.
There's lots of ways to get rereads in. And so if I would have had time, we would have reread chorally together. So, or merge it into then a fluency lesson to go along with that.
Yes, for sure. I was going to say that could become his fluency with a buddy or some, some fluency center that he goes to. With these lessons, it's really critical that you do get all of those beginning parts, even though you didn't get 50% of the time text reading. I'm sure that doesn't always happen, but you can see that he still has a lot of those lower skills that are lacking.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a give and take, but 50% of your phonics lesson, that's your goal for text reading. I think you came pretty close if we were to back it up and look at the time. So that's your goal. And then you always want to continue to kind of move up in the sound spellings because you got to catch them up to second grade. Second grade, at this point in time, you were probably getting close to a long vowel spelling.
I would guess we were in long vowels at that point.
Yeah. So he's, quite a few spelling patterns behind.
Yeah.
So we're going to work as quickly as possible and just keep going with these lessons so they can have an opportunity to catch up.
Yep. So the core phonics survey has allowed me to know what he needs, and I can progress monitor him through oral reading fluency using Dibble's assessment.
Yeah.
So, and that's what's been helping me know what to teach him and if it's working.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, thanks for watching this Teacher Center Edition video, and make sure you go to our playlist to check out any other videos we have that interest you in the area of language arts, specifically reading. And we sure appreciate you watching and subscribing. Make sure you subscribe. Go check us out on Instagram and Facebook so you don't miss out on new videos we're posting. Thank you. Simply Teach.